we now welcome on Richard McPherson from Sharp NEC Display Solutions. Richard, thank you so much for joining us today.
Good morning, Jonathan. Thank you.
It's great to have you here. What we want to talk about today specifically is the new ActiveScene product that you guys have out there, and it's pretty new, and it's a pretty new use case for the industry. So could you give us an idea of what is ActiveScene and how you guys came about getting involved with this product and offering it?
Sure. ActiveScene is a total solution. Well, when I say that, it's the total combined solution to integrate projection with glass material that's just traditionally in a location, whether it's a retail, museum, house of worship, education. It doesn't matter. Wherever there's specifically glass being underutilized now, we tried to find a solution that would take that glass and be able to use it as a projection surface as well. And so we incorporated what we call what's called Vela film, and that is from Avery Dennison. And we talked with them, and they approached us, and we approached them to get together to try and create this total solution offering for the industry.
And it's not any kind of specific glass that you need. It's not that you need to reinstall new glass to get this involved. It's something that's going over existing glass.
Yeah, that's the most important piece, is the fact that it's existing glass, right? So we don't have to have the extra expenditures of taking old glass out and putting something new in that is designed specifically for that. It's just allowing us to put a film on the existing glass, whether it's facing out or facing into the space. We can utilize it either way.
Are the integrators going to be the ones that are installing this film on the glass?
There's two ways. One, Sharp NEC can consist of a turnkey solution, basically, so the full solution that we could handle, or we may incorporate integration partners to do the work as well. It all depends on, if we find the customer, or if they come back through the integration side of things. One piece that always will exist is the film itself will be placed onto the glass utilizing a set of integrators that Avery Dennison has authorized on how to place the film on the glass, just because it's such a specific manner in which you want to do it, because you don't want any bubbles on the glass or anything to that effect. So they have specific installers just for that. So they will always be incorporated with whether NEC is installing it, or whether the integrating companies are doing it as well.
As far as the projectors that are being used, are there specific projectors that someone needs, or can anything do?
Well, we set it up for 5 basic SKUs, and that was based on the overall square footage of the film on the glass, and then incorporating the different types of projectors, whether it's, a 32 square foot, for instance, would be a 6,000 lumen projector. As an example, if we move up to 96, then it's one 10K projector. If we want to manipulate that beyond the standard SKUs and we have to edge blend projectors, then of course we'll look at that and say, okay, we may need 2 10,000 lumen projectors, or 3, or however we wanted to do it. But it all depends on that installation requirement and what the customer is really trying to portray.
Speaking of that, what is this meant to portray? What are the use cases that you guys are seeing most often, and where do you see this fitting in different markets?
That's a really good question. I think there's so many different verticals, and we started just looking at thinking, it's digital signage, right? It's a different way of doing digital signage. Instead of having a flat panel or flat panel LCD or LED in the window that obstructs the view into the location, you can place this film on the glass. When you want to have transparency, you just turn the film on, and now you can look into the space. So it changes in that aspect how digital signage could be utilized. But when we're looking at education, it could be advertisement in different locations within there. If it's a museum, it could be utilized in front of dioramas. So there's different, and then corporate is a totally different aspect. It could be privacy, which we just turn the film opaque, and now that boardroom or that conference room has privacy from the external elements. Or it could be branding. So you could put it in your lobby, and it becomes a branding piece that, you may want it transparent, you may want it private, or you may want it as far as a video branding or marketing going on. So there's different aspects that you can utilize, but there's all different verticals. And we're even talking with other companies. It's like, glass manufacturers or companies that actually sell glass for new building builds. That's a great tool because now all of a sudden they have this other option that they can utilize that hadn't really been discussed or was available, previously.
In terms of the content, you managed a few different use cases and different types of content that can go up there. Are there specific files or specific type of content that you need to put up because it's a glass surface?
No, it's really in that sense, it's whatever you want to put on the screen. So we provide a media player as a standard in our standard bundles. You can choose a media player, you could PC, whatever you wanted to run the content. It's in reality, it's a rear projection screen at that point. So whatever you input to the projector is then going to be shown on that screen. There is a different avenue to look at it though from that perspective is instead of just thinking of it as one large screen, because the film is cut in widths of 42 or 48 and it can be up to 9 feet long, you can utilize those in different manners. So if you had a 1x3, you can turn each piece of film on and off independently. So you could have separate images or tell different stories and then have one large image that's covering the whole surface. So it's a different way of manipulating things as well.
Very cool. And as far as integrators that want to get involved in this, is this available now? Is there any training or certification that they need to ensure that they know how to work this and they know how to set it up for their customers correctly? Basically, how can integrators get ActiveScene themselves?
Yeah, and we have it on our price sheet. So every integrator that we currently sell to, any distributor we currently sell to, it's on our price sheet, so they're available to get it. The main thing that comes down to any kind of real training for the purpose of what we consider outside of what I've already said was there's specific companies that are going to install the film is the measuring of the film, right? The measuring of the glass and how specific that has to be before we say, okay, Avery Dennison build this piece of film, right? Because we have to know exactly where it's gonna go on the glass. That's the hardest part. Everything else it's a simple projector installation, and I try to get people to understand that. That's all it is. The rear projection installation, in essence, you connect all the video cables in the same way. The only major difference is you have a film that's going on the glass that is then being controlled by a controller that's specifically designed for that film, right? To provide the voltage. That's all you have, and it's being controlled by a CMS on the media player itself. So it's just simple.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it sounds really incredible, and I think it's something that I've gotten to see some videos of it. I think it's something that really needs to be seen to fully experience. So if anyone in the audience right now wants to learn more about ActiveScene or really anything that Sharp NEC Display Solutions can provide, what's the best place to reach out or find out more
The
information?
best place actually is to go to sharpnec-displays.com. That's our website, and you'll find an ActiveScene link there. And that ActiveScene will also have videos of installations. It shows and what it actually is doing. And we actually have a video of our install in our office as well, which is kind of a branded type of install.
Very cool. Well, I encourage people to go check it out and actually see what ActiveScene looks like and can do. In the meantime, Richard McPherson of Sharp NEC Display Solutions, thank you so much for joining us for this week's AV Plus podcast.
Oh, thank you very much, Jonathan. Appreciate it. It's been a pleasure.